Hey there, Adam here. Welcome into this video. In this video, what we're going to be going over is the best Pinterest ad account structure. So if you're already running Pinterest ads or you're just about to launch Pinterest ads and you're looking to see the best way to kind of structure the campaigns, the ad sets, and even the ads, and also if you launch a promo or a new product that's like a kind of a drop style, how to best structure that to get amazing. We've gotten amazing results with that too. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't heard of me before, my name is Adam Matthews. I've been in the e-commerce space for over 7 years now. I'm running a company called AQM where we help e-commerce brands, acquire new customers profitably at scale with, platforms like Pinterest, like you're about to watch, Meta, Google, all that sort of stuff. And we've done tens of millions of dollars for the brand. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So as you can see here, what we have set up is a nice little fancy flow chart there for you, just to kind of organize it really, really nicely. Spent quite a nice bit of time putting this together there for you. So basically, as you can see how we have it set up, we have the evergreen prospecting, we have evergreen retargeting, and then we're going to be going over the promo campaign structure. And then I'm also going to show you guys some exact keywords, some exact interests that are working really, really well right now that we're running that are just crushing it, and I'll show you one of the best ad sets as well too. So in terms of evergreen prospecting, what we typically do compared to prospecting or retargeting, it's about an 80-20 or 90-10 split roughly, depending on how big the audience is for retargeting. So what I mean by that is if you're spending about $100 a day in total ad spend, then $80 to $90 a day will go towards these prospecting campaigns. So I'll show you how we split it out and what we found worked best, but feel free to test whatever you think works best. And then basically about $10 to $20 would go towards retargeting. So depending on how big the audience is, all that good stuff. So, all right. So in terms of prospecting, what we typically do is we always launch out with a campaign around $20, $30 a day. You can always go higher. We like to start a bit more conservative and then just start scaling up rapidly. And not rapidly, I mean 20% a day is how we scale it. And 20% doesn't sound like a lot, but 20% compounded per day just you can scale it pretty quickly. And I think, now for some of the accounts we're spending, around $1,000 a day, give or take, on an account or two for Pinterest. So you can definitely scale up pretty decently. I mean, obviously it's not the biggest audience size compared to, some of these other platforms like Meta or Google or, TikTok, stuff like that. But Pinterest still has, hundreds of millions of users. So there's definitely some decent room for scale. But what we typically do is we always wait for at least 7 days, to see if it's within KPI. So, we wait 7 days, check the KPIs, spend, purchases, revenue, return, cost per acquisition, all that good stuff. And then we make our decisions after that. But you always want to wait 7 days for Pinterest. It takes some time. That's why we always start conservative as well, because we start with a big budget and next thing you know, you have no idea what's going on with it. So it's too long to be blowing money. I'd rather start the $20, $30 a day budget, wait for the data, then start growing from there and making the decisions from there. So in terms of the structure, what we typically do is a bit of a mix of interest, keywords, and broad. Now, typically what we will start off with a lot of time is just the interest and keyword, and we won't even do broad. Broad is more so, it works for sure, but it's also, you also need a bit more data, we find, for it to be successful. And oftentimes it will be a little bit less profitable than the interest in keywords from our experience on the platform. So just putting that out there from what we've experienced. Now, it could be different on your account, but that's what we've seen on ours. And then what we always do is we always start off with 4 video ads or 4 photo ads. And the reason why you always want to split them out, you never want to combine photos and videos or carousels. And the reason for that is because they'll pretty much 90% of the time from what we've seen, just favor video ads, and it'll just push only towards that. Plus, it's just honestly best practice on the platform whenever we talk to marketing reps and whenever we just test it out on our end. That's honestly what we see. So take it for what you will. That's honestly how we structure it, and what we've seen work best. Now, you can obviously go ahead and add some more ads after that and just keep it the same format, but that's what we see. And then basically what we do is we always split these out by country as well. So if there's multiple countries, it'd be like this duplicated, prospecting Canada, prospecting US, prospecting Australia, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something to note if you're doing multiple countries. You just kind of split it out and just duplicate it. And that's kind of how we kind of structure it. And then we start them off $20, $30 a day, and then we start pushing them. And then we might have like a separate campaign that, will just be multiple ad sets like this. So there's a lot of different ways how we go about it. Now, in terms of, I'll show you right now, in terms of what we've seen work best from right now, in terms of a few that are just absolutely crushing in terms of some sets of keywords and interests. So I'll show you this one here. So this one here is a recent campaign that we launched, and this is one of the ad sets that we have. It's these 3 interests categories. So for some context, this brand here is in the dog space, but then the rep, when we were chatting with the media buyer and myself, they basically recommended some of these, and then we also played around, shot it on there, and then what you could do is you can also segment and see the profitability per category, per interest, all that kind of stuff, and then you just start trimming down what's not profitable. But these are actually very, very profitable, so I encourage you to maybe give it a try and just explore and see what works best for your brand. But these 3 are here. You can see basically on the right hand side the ROAS and the cost per acquisition and the revenue. Very, very healthy. So you can see over the last few months or so with this is lifetime. Been running it for a few months. We spent almost $8,000 on it and brought back 40,000 just on this one campaign with over a 5x return. So very, very, very solid. This is one of our basically just our best prospecting ad set. Is a mix of interests. So you can see here, there's 4 different main categories. So what we did is we launched more, then we just trimmed off the ones that weren't profitable. You can go in there and basically just kind of segment it out. But these ones here, animals, architecture, event planning, wedding was the best. And then we also had these keywords. So we actually maxed it out with 99 keywords, and it's all just dog keywords. Dog fashion, dog tattoo, dog tattoos, dog house, dog drawing, dog cat, dog lover, just you name it. We just pump them in there and max it out. So we had 99 keywords, and then check the results on this one here. So you can see here, we spent $187,000 just on that one ad set there, and generated 3.72 with almost $700,000 in revenue. So very, very profitable. $33 cost per acquisition, $33.97, but they spend about $110, $120 on average. So that's why it ends up being this healthy of an ROI. Now, of course, if AOV was a bit lower, then we would be a bit more careful. But obviously, you need cost per acquisition to be lower. But that is a really good sweet spot for AOV around $100, 150, 200 is a really good sweet spot in terms of being profitable. Obviously, if it's lower, then you want to have a really good conversion rate, and you want your CPA to be like around $10 or so. So that's something to note. But yeah, those have just crushed, and you can see how much we spent and just how much it has brought back. It's just done an amazing job. So kudos to Pinterest for shouts out to that. So that's how we structure that. Now, in terms of retargeting, like I said, 10-20% of the budget, give or take. Very, very simple setup, honestly. So we basically have the regular ads, and then we also do test out just main retargeting ones. So with retargeting, the way we always kind of view it is we always look at, and you can run these on cold too as well, but we always look at like why they haven't bought. It's either they forgot, so a reminder ad can do well. It could be like they think it's a little bit expensive, so discount ad primarily. That's obviously going to be the one that is the most common, but it's still works really well. They could be unsure about the brand and not sure if it's gonna the right fit, this or that, or have some kind of objections about that. And a review ad could do really well, or some sort of social proof. Or if you have a more complex product, we have a few clients that are like that, where there's just so many questions about the product. An FAQ type ad can do really, really well too. So that's something to note on that there. And so yeah, you want to basically mix those in, test those out. So you could launch 4 to start with different angles, and then let's say for instance the FAQ ad as an example does really well. Well, then maybe you want to create another one with a different visual with similar kind of copy, et cetera, et cetera. So start building it up from there. Another piece as well too, doesn't apply to every brand, but if you have like a fashion, jewelry, swimwear type brand, or you just have a big catalog, retargeting ad can do really, really well. So that's something to note there. You kind of just hook it up to shop. Let me know if you want a tutorial on that. But yeah, that's something that could do really, really well too on Pinterest. Now, so that's for the evergreen. you can basically just scale it out like that. Keep building out, a few different campaigns, have the interest keywords, testing out broad too as well. Once you start spending over $100, $200, $300 a day, definitely incorporating broad in there. And then, essentially kind of scale it out like that. Now, whenever there's basically a promo, that's where this strategy comes in right here. So what we typically do is we structure very similar. The main difference is always CBO, and also we also do lifetime budget. Now, the reason why we do lifetime budget is because if it's a limited time, let's just say for easy purposes, let's say it's for Black Friday, right? So let's say we're going to be running it for 2 weeks. It's much better to do, rather than daily that it has to spend, $500 a day, $500 a day, $500 a day. It's much better to do, 10, 20 grand budget, you can always change it. So like if you're freaking out and results aren't as much as you want it to be, you're always, you shouldn't be freaking out. You should not be emotional, this kind of stuff. You just want to let the data that you're talking. You can always adjust it down, but it's also just, side tangent, it's always easier to, scale it down than scale it up. So it's always better to be a bit more ambitious with the lifetime budgets and then, peel it back if it's not as profitable as you'd like it to be. You're always welcome to do that, and, very easy to fix. But yeah, basically, like I was saying, rather than have it just spend every day, it's better to just set the objective and then let the platform, based off, day-to-day fluctuations and all that kind of stuff, spend more on the days that, it is generating a higher return, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully that makes sense. We found way more success with that. I remember hearing this strategy, saw it from a larger brand, like really large brand running it. This was like 4 years ago or something like that. And we've applied it across platforms, and, it works really, really well. Allows us to scale up, our lifetime budgets really, really well. And it just handles the budget really well. So that's what we find for that. And I'll say it's only for, a short amount of time or whatever set period. So that's what we find works best there. Now, in terms of the prospecting, we typically do one ad set, and we just grab so for these, obviously we have different, interest keywords. We have this one here, and then we have, these keywords here, this one here. What we do is just combine all, take a look at all of them, see all the best ones, and then just combine it, just the top performing ones over the last 3-6 months or so, put that in one ad set. And then we just have the top 4 ads. Okay, let me explain this. So basically, if we're launching cross-platform, we basically will take some of the best creatives on, let's just say we launch on Meta, then basically a day or two later, we'll grab the best performing creatives and then reformat them, edit them to put the logo on, captions, put it on really, really nicely, format it nicely for Pinterest, and then we'll put that on Pinterest, if that makes sense. So that way we're just grabbing the best creatives. And typically what works across paid social, that's why we like to run, multiple paid social platforms, not just Pinterest ads. It's a really nice way to kind of expand audience and everything. Plus you can also learn from each other, as well. So that's typically what we do. So we'll launch paid social on another platform like Meta that gets data quicker. And then we'll basically go ahead and take the best ads from that, best creatives, and then boom, reformat it and put it on Pinterest. That's what our strategy is, honestly, for this, and it works really well. So, but if you don't, if you're only launching on Pinterest, then obviously you would just have to launch, the best creatives that you think will do well for it, and then basically see how it performs off that. And then once again, 10, 20%, I mean, maybe around 10%, obviously we're going lesser and lesser on retargeting, because oftentimes with the prospecting, it will dynamically retarget anyway. So we're doing less and less retargeting, but it's still good to do. It's still good to work in, especially on a platform like Pinterest. So that's typically how we structure it there. And then we basically have 2 ad sets, one add to cart 180 days and one visitors 180 days. Some of the best ads in there, and we'll always do about 4 ads in there as well. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if there's any questions on any of this. But that's typically what we've seen best in terms of it. We're always dynamic and always adjusting and figuring out what works best. This is what we're seeing best, and these are some of the interests that are working best on our end. Now, if you are watching this and you have an e-commerce brand and you're struggling with growing it, and you're doing at least $10,000 a month, there's going to be a link down below that's going to take you to a separate video. And also, if you you like that, you go ahead and watch that. And, if you like the sounds of it and it looks like it's something that could help grow your brand, then you can go ahead and schedule an appointment with yours truly. I don't care if you click on the link or not, but it is there down below if you're struggling with, growing your brand and you're doing at least $10,000 per month. But besides from that, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Let me know if there's any questions on any of this kind of stuff. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers for watching.